Hey everyone, Rushlock here with our next episode of Evaganda coverage for Rixx Javix blog posts. This one titled Viridian Expansion. Pretty self-explanatory where we're going with this one. If you're enjoying this series, make sure to hit the like button down below the video and leave us a comment with your thoughts and feedback on the video overall. So Viridian Expansion from Rixx Javix. You can see this was dated back on June 9th. The expansion is obviously launched. The notes are here and available and easy to find. But let's get into the actual post. I encourage you to read them yourself, referring to the Viridian expansion patch notes, as they are chock full of upcoming changes, updates, new features, and important nerfs and buffs to some of our favorite spaceships. This is looking like a pretty significant expansion for the summer. Here are some of my own initial thoughts. Finally, large railguns are getting some much needed love, and Roke and Maelstrom specifically are getting touched to help take advantage of those changes. These two battleships have been largely regulated into the dusty corners of hangars for too long. Great to finally see this weapon system and these ships get some much needed love. Corporation projects. While most of this doesn't impact me directly, I still think this new system has a lot of potential. We've long advocated for putting more control into the hands of leadership inside the game, and while I love for some attention to be given to the Alliance court management tools, we can take what we can get. For me, the idea that bounties might have some potential is an interesting one, and I'll be spending some time with this feature to figure out what it might mean for us pirates. We're finally getting structure skins and custom ones at that. Sadly, they are temporary, and even more sadly, they don't mean anything to those of us in Lowsec who refuse to pay Snuff and their allies protection money to have them. Figures. Oh well. I'm sure our Nullsec and Wormhole friends will enjoy their pretty structures. Marauders are getting some major changes. Increased bastion timers and removal of the ECM resist is going to mean major changes in their roles, especially Lowsec and Wormhole space. This will clearly have some major consequences in the space and finally allow smaller groups like ours the ability to fight back, something we've been relatively unable to do for a while now. Good changes, I think. Graphics updates are always welcome, and it seems like a lot of lifestyle changes are also coming that should make players' lives easier. So that's always welcome. Like I said, most of this doesn't directly impact my own gameplay, but that doesn't mean I don't recognize its value to other players. Take a look at the expansion notes and see what you think. So, leading up to Viridian, this is just my take on things, it seemed a bit thin, like, in terms of things to hype. Obviously the T2 dreads were the big carrots at the end of the stick of like, hey, here's a new shiny toy. The Homefront operations, I think, are some of the biggest things coming out, potentially, and they seem to have been the least hyped, or at least showcased leading up to the actual expansion launch. Maybe that's indicative of the impact they'll have long term. I don't know. It seems like also a development of new tech to be implemented later to add more dungeons, or I presume dungeons is the key word they're using internally for development processes. I do agree the corporation projects I think have a lot of potential. We're seeing the infrastructure for that being introduced. The options and choices you can make with the corporation projects right now are a bit limiting or limited in my opinion. But it's good to see the first round of it come out, and I hope that we see iteration on that system going forward, because there's a lot of things I would love to be able to track data-wise within a corporation and set goals. Nerds love goals, and they love logging in with something to do. The first day, in fact, I haven't ran a corporation in EVE since I started streaming it in 2013, and I quickly ran into the problem of if I weren't logged in and giving people things to do, no one in that corporation logged in and played. And that completely disincentivized me from bothering with it. But with Viridian coming out, I wanted to try again and give it a new bro perspective, where I would help new players in game, getting them in their first ship for various activities. If people from the stream side wanted to put a character in there and help facilitate some of those support systems for new players, more power to them. And that way there wouldn't be any pressure on my end, like, oh, I better be checking what people are doing, and then I can't be discouraged if other people aren't doing anything, because the real purpose is for me to be able to facilitate helping other new players outside of just the stream side. So yeah, that's what I thought about the corporation projects. A lot of potential. Very interested to see what they add to it in terms of things that we can track. A lot of that stuff that I would love to see is already in the activity tracker. For example, if I want to set up a meme project goal where, hey guys, go into wormholes and hack as many sites as you can, I want to see a tracker that shows cans hacked inside of a wormhole. Now we have can tracking information through the activity tracker already, and hopefully that can be specified down to where it's being hacked, but maybe it can, maybe it can't. And all that's just done to be able to give a hard time to Vinegar Douche and the Wormhole Police and publish weekly crime reports and let them see how many crimes we're helping new bros get into, and have a lot of fun with that. I think it'd be entertaining to at least our communities, at least, to enjoy that part. Ship balancing is always a big deal. To me, that's more of like a patch update, not really like an expansion leader. And I'm not saying that Rixx is presenting of that. He's just pointing out as something that stands out to him as being significant and importance. And these two things, the Marauders and the weapon platform for the large railguns being important for battleships or specific battleships, is interesting for sure and of value to certain players. But yeah, as an expansion, not, even CSP didn't put either of these as a staple. Just maybe when they're putting out these expansions twice a year now, they feel like they need to also introduce or hold iterations they want to make and put it in with the expansion, so the expansion seems more full than it really is. I don't know. That's just kind of my take on that. Regarding structures, skins, yeah. I don't understand, and I don't know if CSP has made a post about this yet, the thinking behind, I believe it's 6-month timers on these skins, and they obviously want that to be a sync for the currency. Is that the Evermarks, I believe? Because if an organization has their structure up and puts a skin on it, and the skin lived indefinitely, and they could just apply it to other structures as well, then what would be the point, right? They could just farm up Evermarks once and be done with it forever. Players obviously would be like, yeah, that's exactly what we want. And CSP is like, no, we want you having to interact with the system on a regular basis to stay active. Because you having to log in and do stuff helps us inflate our numbers internally to show to investors, and there's all kinds of moving pieces with that. So I don't know if CSP has made a forward-facing statement yet about why on Earth skins need to have timers again. Like, it was a horrible idea for ship skins. It quickly went away, thankfully, and we'll see if they can come up with a better Evermark sync going forward. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But tell us what you think. Share your thoughts and ideas down in the comments below, and we'll see you all in the next video.